It's not like normal programs. It's the type of program that actually gets you to do deep thinking.
InspirEd was born out of a collaborative inquiry process where our staff were looking at how they can better meet the needs of learners.
So we've been focused on making sure that we're starting with the big ideas, working with the core competencies, and that new curriculum is allowing us the freedom to take a step back and not cover content. And we're looking at the skills. We're looking at communication, we're looking at critical thinking, we're looking at creativity, we're looking at personal and social responsibility.
So we've tried to take a step back from being the body at the front of the classroom that is telling them what they need to know and how they're going to learn it, and letting them learn it through curiosity, through discovery, through research, and that can be really exciting. And actually they find better answers.
So we have 3 teachers.
We've got 60 students that are expecting us to carry this on. So we've got to be able to innovate, to fail, to say that's okay and make it better next time.
We all had a slightly different philosophy, a different direction, a different thought of what our program was going to be, but those all came together really well. So when someone had an idea, we often played on that idea rather than ever fighting it, which was amazing to me.
Having 3 people thinking up ideas on what to do with a class and what's important with the class, and together we do, I think, a much better job than just 3 separate teachers.
So the program is 2 blocks every day for the whole school year, allowing students to have the freedom and flexibility to cover the skills that they want to learn about in the topics of math, science, English, and socials.
The beginning of this year, we tried going with groups, and none of us really knew how to do that because for the past 8 years, we just sat in rows, read textbooks, and did tests.
So we taught collaboration skills. Now, when they go into groups, they're very efficient and they're very good at working together in groups.
Well, most jobs you don't work alone. You're usually working with a team or with somebody, and you get more social skills than just sitting in a desk and not talking to anyone and just reading a textbook.
You learn things that are actually useful.
We learned about politics, and that was really fun.
We had all the parties come to our school and talk to us.
When it came time for voting, I knew more than my mom and dad. Like, they were asking me questions. And then we're doing inquiries, big inquiries and little inquiries.
We have used the social studies new curriculum to say to the kids, here are a bunch of revolutions that occurred in the world. You can choose one that you're interested in and research it.
So I did the Red River Rebellion, and I didn't know anything about that.
I started with the French Revolution, and I thought that'd be too big, so I shortened it down to guillotine. How it made the rebels fear the French.
And then they presented their findings to the group, and the group all became very interested in various revolutions.
You have to learn the subject, but how you learn it is up to you.
It's actually a lot harder than regular classes would think it is, because you do more critical thinking than in regular classes. Like, you actually got to know what you want to learn about.
I worked with a lot of them at the middle school, and I felt like a lot of them were falling through the cracks. But these students that weren't engaged at the middle school are now very much engaged in what they want to do.
I presented my LGBTQ presentation. I searched out when would be the best time to come out, before or after high school ends. And since then, I've had 2 people come out and seek help from me, because I've been through that, and that's kind of why I did it. It was a personal-ish question.
It was quite a moment to see, and it was dead silence in the class, and then all these students supporting her.
The fact that I touched people and everything, that I wouldn't have done that in a normal classroom. They wouldn't even allow that probably in a normal classroom, but in InspirEd, what you have passion for, it's acceptable.
A few of my kids, especially some of the girls that have been diagnosed with Asperger's, just have blossomed. Some of them have done research on Asperger's, and they've been able to have the time to learn about their needs, and it's flexible enough in the environment for them to do what works for their learning style. The biggest piece of being within the team is just that I'm there for all kids, so it's not stigma around an IEP student, it's all kids at some time need support.
Some of the students were not able to tell us what they wanted to learn, and we haven't figured out yet how to reach those kids. If we can get those students, then we'd be reaching all students. So Some students are very engaged. Some students aren't as engaged as we would like them to be. But those students who are engaged are going a lot further than what I see in a regular classroom.
It's helped me a lot. I've understand math more and science and how to read. I wasn't a strong reader, but now I am. And I feel like I've learned how to structure my own capabilities and not be all over the place.
I hope InspirEd becomes the new teaching way because it makes so much more sense, especially when it comes to math. You know, you don't have to learn the way they've taught you. If you know a way that's different from them and it makes sense to you, you can do that. You know, it gets the same answer, so why not?
When you don't focus on content, when you don't focus on grades, kids can start shining and they can start doing really well.
I like it how I know that I'm doing good, but I don't have to worry about a letter grade or anything. It just makes me feel better as a person.
We have been measuring engagement throughout this year, both qualitatively and quantitatively, although that's one part of our story. The conversations we're having with our kids directly is probably one of the most powerful stories that we have to share, is the impact that it has had on some of our students. It hasn't been successful for all, but certainly we are seeing a range of experiences that are helping shape our learning for continuation in this program next year.
It has been amazing. I don't think I've done better in school until this year.
Parents emailing and phoning and saying, I don't know what you're doing at school, but make sure it continues, because we've never had conversations around the dinner table about social studies or politics or English.
We don't learn what's required, we learn what is important. So we apply real world learning in a classroom. It's exactly what should be the school teaching system.